Oh, it was Galileo who reportedly said, "Mathematics is the language with which God wrote the universe."
Yep, and then he wasn't he burned or something? Wasn't he killed eventually for saying things like that? He was killed by the church for explaining God to people. Oh yeah, I've got it. Galileo said in 1623. Is that where you are in the text? Are you in the quantum glory book?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Galileo said in 1623 that the universe cannot be understood unless one first learns to comprehend the language and interpret the characters in which it is written. It is written in the language of mathematics, and its characters are triangles, circles, and other geometric figures, without which it is humanly impossible to understand a single word. Quote, Galileo 1623, Quantum Glory book. It was Galileo who reportedly said mathematics is the language with which God wrote the universe. But often it is only the physicists with their complex mathematical skills and training who experience the exhilaration of penetrating and marveling at the mysteries of the mathematical universe. And then onto the mathematical order of nature.
Yes, continue. It's a very interesting topic follows. The mathematical order of nature.
Before we explore the mathematical order of the quantum world any further, let's return briefly to the order of the molecular biological world. We have suggested that it is the mathematical order of the universe that gives rise to its orderly function. We see this extraordinary order in the interior world of the living cell. A protein molecule, for example, functions the way it has been designed and programmed to function. Our cells are full of countless millions of highly intelligent protein molecules that maneuver around the interior world of the cell with great purpose and mechanical dexterity. These protein molecules have recently been likened to miniature molecular machines that behave exactly like advanced technological machines that have been programmed to perform numerous complex functions. Wetware is the term that has been coined to describe cellular and biological mechanisms that resemble the operational complexity of computer software. This unfathomable complexity has led scientist Dennis Bray to recently release a book titled Wetware, A Computer in Every Living Cell. Moving on, Michael Denton, a molecular biologist, is more familiar with the cell than most people, spending much of his time staring down an electron microscope. He suggests that the interior life of a cell resembles the complexity of a city. Interesting. To grasp the reality of life as it has been revealed by molecular biology, we must magnify a cell 1,000 million times until it is 20 kilometers in diameter and resembles a giant airship large enough to cover a great city like London or New York. What we would see then would be an object of unparalleled complexity and adaptive design. On the surface of the cell, we would see millions of openings like portholes of a vast spaceship, opening and closing to allow a continual stream of materials to flow in and out. If we were to enter one of these openings, we would find ourselves in a world of supreme technology and bewildering complexity. We would see endless, highly organized corridors and conduits branching in every direction away from the perimeter, the edge of the cell. Some leading to the central memory bank in the nucleus, others to assembly plants and processing units. The nucleus itself would be a vast spherical chamber, more than 1 kilometer in diameter, resembling a geodesic dome, inside of which we would see all neatly stacked together in ordered arrays, the miles of coiled chains of the DNA molecules. A huge range of products and raw materials would shuttle along all the manifold conduits in a highly ordered fashion to and from all the various assembly plants in the outer regions of the cell. We would wonder at the level of control implicit in the movement of so many objects down so many seemingly endless conduits, all in perfect unison.
This is the way for architecture of the future. To learn from architecture of our microbiological systems.
Yeah, there's a danger in that though, because who was it? There was a project, I think Cities of the Future, where they tried to design the perfect cities with everything structured perfectly where it should be, and it didn't work at all.
The principles were completely different from the principle of biological microsystems.
Probably yes. The orderliness of nature is nowhere more clearly revealed than in the complex function of the molecular machines inside the cell. There are two main kinds of molecules in the cell, the protein molecules and the nucleic acids that carry genetic information. Nucleic acids constitute both the DNA molecules and the messenger RNA molecules. Messenger RNA molecules functions with an extraordinary intelligence as they enter the nucleus of a cell in search of a highly specific section of the DNA code somewhere amongst the 6 gigabytes of coherent genetic information. Somehow this molecule knows exactly where it's going and exactly what it's looking for. It functions for all intents and purposes as a microcomputer that has been programmed to locate a specific section of code in order to make an exact photocopy of that piece of code. The mRNA then transports this strand of replica code to the ribosome, where it is read and translated into the coherent assembly of a sequence of hundreds of amino acids that ultimately constructs a brand new protein molecule. This level of intelligent programming continues from a subcellular level right down to a quantum level. Because subatomic quanta are designed with a specific purpose and function, they also carry intelligible information in both the function and pattern of their own existence. Cells are made of molecules, and the molecules within the cells are composed primarily of oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. Water molecules, H2O, make up approximately 65% of the cell. There are 4 major biopolymers in the cell: the proteins, the nucleotides, the carbohydrates, and the lipids. The protein molecules are made of amino acids, which in turn are made of oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen, plus a trace of sulfur. The nucleic acids are similarly made of the 4 same elements plus a trace of phosphorus. Carbohydrates are made of almost equal parts of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, whilst lipids or fats are made of carbon, hydrogen, and a trace of oxygen. Most of it constitutes the cell of 4 different kinds of atoms. Okay, here we go. No matter. A paragraph beginning no matter. No matter where we look in observing nature, we see this same pattern of seemingly intelligent molecules and atoms. You got it at the bottom of the page.
At the bottom?
Yeah, at the bottom of the page. No matter where we see,
no
matter where we look in observing nature, we see this same pattern of seemingly intelligent molecules and atoms behaving as though they know exactly what they are doing. See modern day society. If you were to interrupt them and ask them what they are doing, they would not be able to explain their pre-programmed behavior to you. But leave them to go on their merry way, and you would observe them behaving with all the attributes of intelligence as they bond with their compatriots and function the way they are programmed to function.
Yes, they are biorobots.
Yeah. It is extremely difficult
Like
to...
most of humankind now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, basically. Yeah. It is extremely difficult to escape the conclusion that everything in the physical universe carries information in the form of programming, so that it functions the way it was designed to function. That's really deep. I'll read that again. It is extremely difficult to escape the conclusion that everything in the physical universe carries information in the form of programming, so that it functions the way it was designed to function. That's really deep. This is why intelligent physicists describe the universe as a giant quantum computer at the subatomic level. It is no different to the argument that the cell behaves as a microcosmic supercomputer complete with its information-rich library of genetic material, which functions as the blueprint for building every single living thing. That might be the most complicated sentence I've ever read.
Oh no.
That might be one
So,
of the most
once more again.
It is no different to the argument that the cell behaves as a microcosmic supercomputer, complete with its information-rich library of genetic material, which functions as the blueprint for building every single living thing.
It's no problem.
Okay.
So absolutely simplified.
Okay, good. I get that. I get that. I understand that.
Yeah, okay.
Max Planck was one of the greatest physicists of the 20th century. He is widely regarded as the founder of quantum mechanics because of his many contributions to the early development of quantum physics. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1918. In a speech titled The Nature of Matter, presented in Florence, Italy in 1944, he made a startling comment concerning the relationship between intelligence and matter.
That's great.
As a man who has devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed...
Now be very careful. Continue and be very careful, because the key point will come.
Okay. I'm not sure I can do this. As a man who has devoted his whole life to the most clear-headed science, to the study of matter, I can tell you this much as a result of my research about atoms. There is no matter. There is no matter.
No matter as such.
All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings the particle of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. We must assume behind this force the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is the matrix of all matter.